This episode is brought to you by DistroKid.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
Hey everyone, After Party Week continues here at Chris DeMakes A Podcast. You know the deal. The After Party is our weekly bonus episode that we release to our Patreon supporters each week. And we now have a back catalog of hundreds of episodes that you can get access to instantly by signing up for our Patreon at chrisdemakes.com. Plus, you get a new episode every week. So if you love Chris DeMakes A Podcast, go check it out. Your support allows us to continue making the show. Okay, we went way back yesterday, so here's a more recent one. Once in a while, we even have a guest on the After Party, and on this episode from November 11th, 2024, we were joined by One Hit Thunder's Matt Kelly, and we each chose some album tracks that we thought should have been singles. Hope you enjoy this one, and I also hope you'll hit us up in our Facebook group or on Instagram and let us know what songs you think should have been singles. All right, here's episode 183 of The After Party. Enjoy.
Welcome to the After Party. Ready, set, let's go. Welcome to the After Party, the show after the show. Learn a little something new. Join us for the ride. Chris and Chris want all of you to know. The After Party's where it's at. The show after the show.
Well, hey, Chris, let's party.
I'm ready to party, and we had to bring back the party animal himself, Matt Kelly. Woo! Matt, you're so good. We're partying here. What is it? Like a Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m.?
9:30 a.m., wide awake, ready to party, all caught up on Only Murders in the Building, so I'm ready to party with the Chris's.
Let's go. Let's go. Matt, you are so good at after partying that you actually came at us with another idea for an episode of the After Party. So I said, well, obviously I have to have you back to do this one. And your idea was to talk about songs that were album tracks that we think should have actually been singles.
Yeah. And I don't know the lens in which you guys went about this, but I feel like there's three different angles, right? There's angle one, which is kind of your world and my world, Chris, of if only this single came out, this group wouldn't be a one-hit wonder because this could have changed something for them. There's the kind of obscure, forgotten bands that you're like, oh man, this band wouldn't have been forgotten had this been released. But for me, I personally went in a different direction, and knowing your guys' list, I think we all went in the direction of no, these are basically all stadium bands for the most part, or very well-established bands that we're just kind of man, they really missed a huge opportunity with a song that is undeniably a radio single that just didn't get pushed for one reason or the other.
Matt, do you want to, since this was your idea, do you want to start us out with one of your choices for one of these?
Yeah. I know that actually DeMakes and myself both had something tied to Green Day, and I don't think that that's an accident. As much as they are a huge stadium band, I feel like their albums are littered with missed radio hit opportunities left and right. I could have picked Stewart in the Avenue from Insomniac. I could have picked Scattered or Wary Rock from Nimrod, but those albums did decent. I wanted to pick something from probably their lowest selling album at the peak of their career. It kind of at the time felt like it was a career killer with Warning, and I would have told them to absolutely put out Church on Sunday.
If my mama's got a church on Sunday, will you go with me on Friday night? If you live with me, I'll die for you, and this
I don't know why this was never in the conversation as a single, because it's so catchy. Like, it's one of those songs where the verses are equally as catchy as the chorus. And I don't know if we want to do this with everyone, but if we want, I would even suggest maybe not releasing the song Warning as a single. I think that was probably the weakest of the 3 singles they put out, and said, no, don't do the title track, do Church on Sunday. That's going to be the one that's going to start selling units of this record.
I didn't like the first single.
Yeah.
Minority, but it was they would say minority to rhyme with majority. I just didn't like it. I also think, guys, that the production on this record, did you hear the mix I sent to Chris? Someone on YouTube did this song in the style of Dookie, Church on Sunday.
No, but I bet it sounds awesome.
They did a pretty good job, yeah.
If I promise go to church on Sunday, will you go with me on Friday night? If you live with me, I'll die for you, and let's compromise.
I think the song's awesome. I agree with you. Chris?
Yeah, I think this song's really good. I slept on this album. Actually, to tell the truth, I'm still sleeping on this album. Maybe today will be the day I stop sleeping on it and listen to it, because I heard in a recent episode of One Hit Thunder that Matt Milligan said this is the cool guy Green Day album. This is the one that, like, I don't know why, but I guess I got to check it out. I think maybe I didn't, because I didn't really like the singles that much. I didn't like Minority that much. I didn't like the song Warning that much, but I do like this song, Matt. I'm glad you brought this one up. I do think I like the melodies a lot. Chris, I do like the Dookie-fied version of it. I wish it was more that style, but I think it's a really good pick, Matt. Although you did say you mentioned a song in passing there that I think, Scattered.
Scattered, I don't understand how that was not a single too, because that song rules.
That could have been the biggest Green Day song, I think.
And Chris, before we move on, do yourself a favor and go back and listen to the song Waiting again.
Yeah. That was their best single easily from the 3 that they released.
It's one of my favorite Green Day songs. I love it. What do you got, Chris?
I'll start with a song from my all-time favorite album, Anna Begins, the 5th track on Counting Crows, August and Everything After.
Consequences, she can't stop shaking, and I can't stop touching her. And this time, when kindness falls like rain, it washes her away, and Anna begins to change her mind.
I think this is up there as maybe one of the best Counting Crows songs. There's so much emotion in this song, and I don't know, maybe it's just that it's kind of in between the world of a ballad and a mid-tempo song. Maybe it's a little bit longer of a song, but there are lines in this song. Every time she sneezes, I believe it's love, and oh Lord, I'm not ready for this sort of thing, or these seconds when I'm shaking leave me shuddering for days. There's just lyric after lyric after lyric in this song where you really feel the emotion. Supposedly this song is inspired by a real person named Anna, who Adam Duritz met during a trip to Greece. And the song reflects the complexities of a relationship that he knew wasn't meant to last, but was hard to let go of emotionally. And I don't even know how Adam Duritz had time in the 90s to be having all these emotions and feelings for women when he had so many emotions and feelings for the cast of Friends. But
Yeah,
I got to tell you guys, this is this is an all-time favorite for me. Chris, do you know this song? I don't know if you go deep into Counting Crows like I do.
I didn't know this, and this, that's why I want to bring this up. The memories that you have to this record. This is your favorite record.
Yes.
This is right in the wheelhouse of your formidable years growing up. You were like 13, 14 years old, and nothing can replace that. We've talked about that a million times on the show. No, I haven't heard the song. I think it's great. But when you look at it in the list of singles, I mean, where do you put it? Mr. Jones, Round Here, Rain King, and A Murder of One. Those were the singles released from the record. Upon first listen, this song didn't jump out at me as single material for Counting Crows, but I don't have those memories. I don't feel what you feel for this song. I think it's a cool track. I listened to it 2 or 3 times, but I don't have those memories. What do you think, Matt?
I actually, when Chris said Anna Begins, I'm like, I don't think Chris understands the assignment, because that had to have been a single. Like, it's to me, it's like such a beloved song that I had to actually look it up and be like, Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, they didn't release this. Because when I think of this album, this is one of the first songs that jumps out to me. Now, I'm the most vocal of, I think, A Murder of One is the best song Counting Crows has ever written. I love that song. But that's one that I didn't know was a single. Like, I don't think that got the radio play of like a Mr. Jones or a Rain King for sure. But yeah, this song, I weirdly associate this song with a very weird movie called The Rules of Attraction from like 2000. And there's a bit where James Van Der Beek's character says that he brought a drunk girl back to his campus and played her some unimportant song that he remembered from his childhood. And it's James Van Der Beek strumming a guitar singing Anna Begins for a couple seconds.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I'm going to leave you guys with this before we move on. I have a feeling, because their next record didn't come out until 1996, The Counting Crows. I have a feeling they toured so much, and after the fourth single, the label may have wanted to do another one, and the band just threw their arms up. Management said, I can't put these guys back on the road. They're dead. They have to go home. That happens a lot, you know. But so my first pick is from 1969, Abbey Road. I can't believe this wasn't released as a single. Paul and John, they pushed George out the door again. Here Comes the Sun.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright.
Me and Matt both said, what do you mean it wasn't a single? Did Chris not understand what we were doing? And also, the things I learned. First of all, Chris, did you know John Lennon is not on this song?
I know that. Isn't that crazy? And I think that's part of the friction and the rub. This was their last record. We know there was internal tensions within the band. Crazy, right?
Oh, yeah, but this song is just so awesome. The time signature changes. Dude, another thing I didn't realize about this song, they use a moog in this song.
A Moog?
Well, wait a second. Didn't we have this? Who did we have this conversation with? Howard Jones?
I think so. I think it's Moog. I can't believe it. I always thought it was Moog.
Okay. Well, whatever. Moog. There's one of them in this song.
Yeah, whatever it is, the point is Moog.
Yeah. So Come Together was the first single from this album. How do you mess with that? I mean, think of the songs that are, on this record and just come together in and of itself. What an interesting, nothing ever sounded like that. Those guys obviously were pioneers, but Here Comes the Sun's just beautiful.
Yeah.
This is similar to Anna Begins, where the song definitely has like taken on its life. Maybe it was never written as a single, but boy, did the classic rock radio stations hear something in it later on. Because I feel like this was probably one of the first Beatles songs I remember hearing on the radio as a kid and being like, oh, this is a very nice song. Both of the Harrison songs on Abbey Road should just have been the biggest singles off of this, because it was this and Something are both on here, and they're just unbelievable tracks.
I think Something may have been a single, Matt.
Yeah, it should have been. But
I think it was.
Harrison in what is arguably one of the best albums in their entire career. Harrison is kind of the underutilized Beatle. Knocked it out of the park twice on this album.
Yeah. Definitely. And despite the fact that this wasn't a single, it didn't matter, because in 2011, NASA used this song as a wake-up call for the crew every day during the Space Shuttle Discovery during one of their final missions. So in the end, it didn't matter that they didn't release it as a single, because it was being played beyond planet Earth.
That's right. It was a single in space. Matt, what do you got for your next pick?
So I'm going to go with a person whose name has been in the news quite a bit lately. I'm going to talk about the Foo Fighters for a quick second. Now, The Color and the Shape is a massive album. And the three singles that most people know off this album, I wouldn't change a thing. Monkey Wrench, Everlong, and My Hero are all just amazing songs that have had this long life on radio. There was a fourth single. It's funny. It's not listed on the Wikipedia, but it is listed if you click into the actual hyperlink track. Walking After You was the final single off of this album as like a promotion for this album and a promotion for it being on the X-Files movie soundtrack at the same time. And it might be the most forgettable track on the entire album of The Color and the Shape. And I remember buying this album in 1997, the second I heard Monkey Wrench, already being a Foo Fighters fan and being like, this album's going to be great. And this is the track right after Monkey Wrench. And I heard that guitar riff. I heard the way that this kind of goes into that classic Nirvana, quiet, loud for the verses and choruses, and just thought, oh, this is going to be on the radio any day now. Like, this song is just like ready-made for radio stardom. I got curious and looked on Setlist FM because I'm like, this has to be like a fan favorite at least that they still play. This was basically just played live to promote this album and never again. So I don't know why they don't like this song that much, but I think that this might be one of the best songs the Foo Fighters has ever recorded.
Did you even say what song?
Oh, yeah, it's called Hey Johnny Park. The song Hey Johnny Park. It's Hey Johnny Park, which I would say is probably the only reason why it wasn't released as a single. That's a terrible name for this song. But otherwise, like, I just think, I'm curious what you two think. Because this has been a song that every time I hear it, I think, why wasn't this released as a single?
Well, it probably should have been called Blackout, or This Is a Blackout.
Yeah.
And that might have had something to do with the title. I also think, talking about that that's quiet, loud dynamic on this record, and this song in particular, the track before it, My Poor Brain, I thought that could have been a single too. Those verses are beautiful in that song. I love this tune. I'm surprised it wasn't played more than it was. Maybe they played it and it was one of those songs that just didn't connect with the audience. We've all heard and seen those songs. I've played those songs live. You're like, oh, might not do that one again.
I'm not like as big of a Foo Fighters fan as the average person my age. I mean, I like the Foo Fighters, but I don't go deep into their albums, but I didn't know what this song was. And as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this song. I feel like this is one of those songs, despite not being released as a single, I believe that rock radio, at least around Pittsburgh, plays this song sometimes.
Oh.
How else would I know it? Because I
Yeah.
don't even have this album. But I thought it was a cool song. I think that's a good choice. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
It's your turn, Chris.
Okay. This one really blows my mind. I went with Nirvana's Drain You.
One baby, two, another says I'm lucky to meet you. I'm talking what you think this is about me.
This song was the 8th track on Nevermind. It was Kurt, well, according to an interview he did, I believe it was with David Frick from Rolling Stone. This was Kurt's favorite Nirvana song. And it's so catchy. I feel like this is the most like pop radio Nirvana song there is, yet it wasn't a single. I mean, I think maybe it's because of that really long build-up bridge part that kind of goes on forever. And maybe Nirvana was against doing like a radio edit of that or something, but I can't believe this one wasn't a single.
I love this song. I think this goes back to your last pick, Chris, the Counting Crows. Look what's ahead of it, though. Smells like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are, Lithium, and In Bloom. I mean, you can't mess with those songs. I think Drain You is awesome, and I think it certainly could have been a single. I did think about that bridge part as well, but I'm also wondering, did the band just, think of what was going on with that band, Kurt in particular, did they just burn out and they didn't want to go for anymore? I almost feel like this record, barring a song or two, they were so popular, any song could have got on the radio with these guys, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say the exact same thing. I think the most interesting part of this song is that bridge, and I think that bridge also scares the absolute shit out of a radio station or a radio DJ of like, oh, this is going to be the part where someone's going to turn the dial and be like, oh, this is what's happening, and then just move on. I love this song. I agree with you, Chris, and I think it makes sense that this is Kurt's favorite song, because I think on Nevermind, this is, as I've said 1,000 times before, I'm team In Utero. This is the most In Utero sounding song, I think, on Nevermind, because it just gets so weird in that center part.
Two funny things before we move on here. One, I was looking at the lyrics on here and I went on Genius, and I love that line, "The water is so yellow, I'm a healthy student, indebted and so grateful, vacuum out the fluids." And I clicked on "The water is so yellow, I'm a healthy student," and someone had just wrote, "Talking about piss." I love that was the what someone's whatever interpretation was. Also, the other thing is, during that big long bridge we're talking about, did you guys know that Butch Vig and Kurt took like a rubber ducky and aerosol cans to make those noises in the bridge, like those weird noises? I didn't know that.
No.
Yeah, I've definitely heard the rubber duck before. I did know about the aerosol cans, but that makes sense. That like pipe sound, like steam coming out of a pipe noise.
Pretty cool. Hey, everybody. We'll be right back with the after party after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
The Red Hot Clearance event is on right now at Burlington, and I'm excited for the markdowns. It's all about savings on top of savings throughout the store. This is when I stock up on styles for my closet, home decor, and much more, because there's up to 70% off other retailers' prices on clearance. I mean, I'm going every day because these prices, too hot to miss. Burlington. Deals, brands, wow. Styles and selections may vary by location.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority is using Google AI to create smarter tolling systems and improve traffic flow for Texans. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American Innovation.
If you went on a road trip and you didn't stop for a Big Mac or drop a crispy fry between the car seats or use your McDonald's bag as a placemat, then that wasn't a road trip. It was just a really long drive. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Enjoy complimentary access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, They build patience, problem solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
Your burger is served, and this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. Its sweet profile perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger.
That is one perfect combination. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
And now, back to the after party. Chris, you're up next, right?
I am up next, and my pick is Darling Nikki by Prince from Purple Rain, 1984.
I knew a girl named Nikki, I guess you could say she was a sex fiend. I met her in a hotel lobby, masturbating with a magazine. She said, how'd you like to waste some time? And I could not resist.
Let's Go Crazy, When Doves Cry. What was the other single? Purple Rain, of course.
Sure.
And I think the last single was, is it called Take Me With You?
Let's see. I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, Take Me With You and I Would Die For You were both singles.
Oh, okay. I Would Die For You. Then they did Take Me With You as the last and fifth single. I think that was the wrong single. I think Darling Nikki should have been the pick. I think this was Prince's kind of James Brown moment. His vocals just sound like he's given a sermon. They could have replaced masturbating with serenading for a radio edit. I've already thought this through. Darling Nikki's my pick.
This was another one where I was like, does Chris actually understand what what the assignment is? Because again, I cannot believe that this wasn't a single off of Purple Rain. It's definitely a more noteworthy song than the last two singles, I think. If you ask someone to name songs off of Purple Rain, I feel like Darling Nikki would be one of the first songs they say after the title track and Let's Go Crazy.
You know, Chris, when you sent us your picks, you first said Erotic City. And
yes.
I just did all this deep dive into researching of Erotic City. And I love that song. But I'm like, he thinks this should have been a single? This song's so weird,
No.
and he says fuck so much in it.
No. So Erotic City was the B-side to Let's Go Crazy.
Yeah.
And I listened to that song so many times. I didn't have the full record at that point. I only had the two songs, and it didn't make the record, probably because of the lyrical content. But I always thought that was a long-lost, like, Rick James song, Erotic City. It sounds like something that he would do. But because of the profanity, I somehow got the songs mixed up. But Darling Nikki, I think is awesome. I think that that one lyric probably stopped it from going to radio. I don't think Take Me With You is a memorable or a great song. But all right, Matt Kelly, what's your third pick?
So this one's a bit of a weird one, and I think I have this story correct, but Chris, either one of you might be able to confirm or deny this. The story that I had always heard was that Blink-182 recorded Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, handed it in, and kind of got that note that you hear so often of someone being like, yeah, but where's the single? And then Mark and Tom kind of went their separate ways and brought First Date and Rock Show to the table. And we're like, all right, here's the songs that we've written to be singles. I have two thoughts on that. One is that I think those are two of the, no offense to people who love that song, I think those are two of the like least inspired Blink singles of their career. Rock Show and First Date never did anything for me. But also I can't believe that they listened to this song and didn't hear a single in Reckless Abandon. It's everything that I think Blink-182 represents, right? You know, like it's youthful, it's nostalgic, it's about getting into crazy shit with your friends when you're young and fearless, and it's got just like a killer chorus that gets stuck in your head. I actually, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket might be my favorite Blink album, and it weirdly has all of my least favorite singles they've ever put out. Like the idea that Rock Show, First Date, and Stay Together for the Kids were all the singles they put out, and that this was like never even brought into the conversation as a possible single is insane to me.
I never heard this song, Matt, Reckless Abandon. It's got the classic Blink riff. Could have been on Dude Ranch. Could have been on Enema of the State. I don't like any of the singles either from this record. I think that's why I didn't get to this song. I don't think I ever heard any of the other songs, maybe live, from this album. I don't know why they didn't pick this. This could have easily, it seems the easiest out of those 3 songs that were singles, digestible to Blink fans, but maybe that's what they didn't want. It kind of sounded like their other stuff.
This is the most Blink song I've ever heard. It is.
Right?
I can't believe that it does have that catchy, we left a scar-sized extra large part. I think that's pretty memorable. That's the lyric, he took a shit in the bathroom tub and fed the dog the brownie drugs. I'm like, maybe that's why it wasn't a single. I don't know, but Blink fans might like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's crazy that you say that Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is one of your favorite, or did you say it's your favorite Blink album?
It might be my, but it also,
get the fuck out of here.
Well,
Matt.
listen, hold on a second.
That's ridiculous.
Listen, I feel like I've said this before, but with certain bands, it's like, how old were you? Like, I was a freshman in high school when this album came out. So it was like, this was the album that me and all of my other punk friends were listening to, and so I've got that nostalgia attached to it. If I'm gonna sit there and logistically be like, well, what's the best written album? Like, obviously, like Dude Ranch and Enema of the State are these masterpieces, but this is the one that brings the rose tinted glasses over my face the quickest.
Freshman in high school, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going through my first divorce. Thanks for bringing up something really painful. What do we got next?
Is it my
Moving
turn?
on.
Yeah, it's your turn, Chris.
It's Chris's turn.
Okay, I went with a deep cut on Jimmy Eat World's Bleed American. I went with If You Don't, Don't. It's the 7th song on Bleed American. I think it's so catchy, and there's so much feeling and emotion behind the words of this song. I love like the repeated lines in the song, some of these lyrics. And I'm sorry that I'm such a mess. I drank all my money could get. I took everything you let me have, and then I never loved you back. I think this is an amazing song. I couldn't believe this wasn't a single. It's interesting with Bleed American because Sweetness is one of the singles, and for me and my friends being diehard Jimmy Eat World fans, we'd known that song for years.
Yes.
And then it was a single when they re-recorded it and everything. And really, it was only the middle and Sweetness from that album. I think this very easily could have been a huge song for Jimmy Eat World if they'd released this as a single. Actually, I think this song's better than the middle.
Well, they went with Bleed American first. I think they did that because they didn't really know what they had here. They had to go for their fan base. Okay, right. We all know the story of them being dropped by Capitol and making this record themselves. The middle, Sweetness is great. I'll also make an argument, Chris, for the Authority song. They had the female guest vocals on that one. I don't recall who sang with Jim, but I thought that song was great too. I had never heard If You Don't. It's an interesting song.
Wow. I'm surprised you never heard this one.
If I did, I don't recall. I don't recall. It kind of got lost in the shuffle maybe.
In my mind, it is a mini miracle that Jimmy Eat World was able to have success on this album just with bad timing. Because, Chris, you're correct. The first single was Bleed American. I think they were gearing up to release Praise Chorus in early September 2001. September 11th happens. That becomes a weird thing to be pushing out. And it was almost like 2 months later, the middle comes out in November. There was a full 4-month gap between singles being released off this album. They had to re-release it with a new name of the album. There's a world where there was no singles that hit off of this album, if not for the persistence of the good songwriting. So I almost wonder if the only reason why they didn't go for a 4th single, and this would have been a great option, Chris, I think, If You Don't, would have been just because maybe they were just like, we need to move past the Bleed American cursed album that we've been dealing with in this. What I would actually argue is more shocking, but it could have it could have also seemed predatory, is like, Hear You Me is this massively beautiful song that maybe would have hit really well on radio following the September 11th attacks. Like this song of loss and sadness. I'm almost surprised that wasn't pushed as a single at some point, because I think in the fall of 2001, that would have been the exact type of stuff that would have gotten radio play.
What do you got for your last pick, Chris?
Last pick, and at the top, Matt talked about there's so many different ways to look at this, like what the topic of today was. And I couldn't find that there was any singles released, like pushed to radio from this album. It's 2016's Hypercaphium Spasonate from the Descendants. And the song is called Smile, and it's written by Milo, and it's currently my favorite Descendants song.
What I wouldn't give to see you smile once in a while. What I wouldn't give to see you smile once in a while.
It's not quirky. It's more in the pop vein, rock vein. But Milo writes about, his experience of what was going on with Bill when he had his brain tumor. And the lyrics just hit me so hard because I was with Bill during this time. Stefan had put out a solo record, which I sang on. I went to Tulsa, did an album release show. Bill played drums for Stefan's live band. And he still had this huge scar, and he was, they were shaving his head around it. They had to, still had staples in his head. And this song was, on paper, the lyrics kind of cheesy, the smile lyric in the chorus, but the way Milo sings it with the conviction, it's awesome. And then the a cappella part at the end is just Goosebumps City. And I don't know. I feel like this is one of those songs that if Kevin Weatherly from K-Rock in Los Angeles would have banged 20 times a day at the release, that this could have been a hit.
They buried it on the album. I mean, it's the 9th track on the album.
I know.
It is a very good song. This album was the highest charting Descendants album. It hit number 20 on the Billboard 200. Even if you're a punk band and you don't necessarily think you're going to be played on like mainstream radio, you still released at least a single. I believe, what was it? The second or third track on this album, they released like as a single. I don't know that it caught on radio at all, but yeah, I mean, this one feels like it should have been the third track on an album. I love, especially towards the end, when the bass lines at the end are just...
they're incredible.
So amazing. The song, was produced by Bill and Stefan, and I think this one's great.
Well, I was just going to say, I was not familiar with this song at all. I love the Descendants. I didn't even know this album came out in 2016. Like, this was so out of my radar, even as a fan of Descendants and all, like that whole musical world that those guys have created. And I put this on and I was like, how have I not heard this song before? So that got very quickly added to just a general playlist of like, no, I want this song to just show up on shuffle way more often in my life. This may be my favorite of the songs that I didn't know that we discovered this round.
And Chris, you had two more. We don't have to get into them too much, but we originally were doing 5 songs each. You had JAR from Green Day on there because that was originally supposed to be on Dookie, right? Is that right?
It was recorded during the Dookie sessions. Didn't make the album. I don't know how it didn't make the record. Was a single on Angus. And then my other one was
The Outfield?
I Don't Need Her. Yeah, I Don't Need Her from The Outfield, the third track on their big album. It's the song right after Your Love. And yeah, I think that song is absolutely amazing. And then Chris, you had, what else did you have?
I just did my 3.
Oh, that's right. You just did your 3. Matt had a couple more.
I had a few others. One that after I'd set my 3, I was like, ooh, maybe I should change this. Is the Plain White T's have a song called Friends Don't Let Friends Dial Drunk that is just so catchy, and it's like a perfect power pop song. And I don't think that was released as a single. And then I had a few others that are just like, doing over 250 episodes of One Hit Thunder. There's obvious those bands where you're just like, how did they not put this song out after this other big single, and like we wouldn't even be talking about this band if someone made that decision. But that's like I feel like that's a whole different world of like songs that you don't know are great by one hit wonders. Like there's a ton of those out there.
Right on, guys. Well, hey, Matt, thanks for the cool idea for the after party day. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
Torn away, and at the end of the day, on a game well played.